Juice Bar back. Jalen Brunson back. Let's talk
go.
about it. He comes back the other night at the Garden. Knicks get an easy W. Got a little sketchy in the fourth against the Suns. But
Great effort, though, on a back-to-back shot.
Yeah, and Devin
Great
Booker,
effort.
offensive master.
You see what he said, appreciating the Garden, by the way, in the postgame? He takes it very seriously when it comes here. And again, he's a Western Conference guy. He only comes once a year.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the Mecca of basketball. Just utmost appreciation. Always respects the atmosphere.
Amazing.
Speaking to all entertainers at the Mecca, by the way.
Knicks win 50 back-to-back years.
Come on.
I want to talk about that, so we'll get into that. Pistons playoff look ahead, 3-6 currently.
Woo!
Knicks, Pistons.
I feel great about it. A lot of people
are
nervous.
The Knicks should beat them. They're just their makeup is the opposite of what our makeup is. We're a lot more finesse offensively now.
Are they the lower tier version of the Rockets of the East to some degree?
Yeah.
Similar, right?
Yeah, definitely. They're very similar to the Rockets. Like a year behind what the Rockets are trying to put together.
Maybe go Cade over Jalen, but
what'd you see from Jalen coming back? We talked about it on the pregame show. He's going to need some time. I didn't realize.
You called it, by the way. You on the pregame, just to interject. You were like, yeah, he's probably going to come out and get the guys involved early. Had a few dimes in the first quarter, which was great to see. Takes obviously a little bit of legs under you for half a quarter when you come back from that. And he was getting the guys involved early. Love to see it.
Yeah, continued to get OG. OG continues to roll on offense. I don't even call him OG anymore. I just call him O. All O. OG's been doing his thing.
Oh, the G.
Brunson, I can't believe he missed 15 games. Didn't feel like that.
Yeah.
Felt like he was out, but 15 is that's 20% of the season. That's a lot of games. So, happy to see him back in the fold. Get some games back. He'll be able to qualify for All-NBA Clutch Player of the Year award. That's big just for his personal accolades and just getting ramped up before the playoffs.
Is he a lock for Clutch of the Year? Clutch Player of the Year? We've seen some of these late awards move.
Yeah, but he's
got to have it, right?
The Draymond DPOY moved super late.
50-1 to even money in the same month.
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
Brunson,
I wish I could have got ahead of that.
We're in New York. We got to go on the path to go to Jersey to lock that in, by the way. For
brutal.
He's minus 210 right now, and then Jokic is next at plus 175 on clutch player
one
odds.
of those? Are they going to give it to Jokic because he doesn't win
get the MVP? It's possible.
Classic NFL MVP. Next man up gets OPOY.
OPOY. It's very, very possible. But what'd you see from Brunson? What'd you like? And then let's talk about the 50-win seasons in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I loved him coming back. You were on the money with the 6 dimes, coming in, getting the boys. Always nice to see on a back-to-back a little extra, pizzazz from the offense, especially a little rejuvenation, going from road home back-to-back as well, and 2 wins. But you can just feel it. Energy was up. Everyone was excited. And again, kind of free-falling sun, so you're picking them off with no KD. But the energy on the back-to-back, which in their last couple of back-to-backs, were in tough spots against the Clippers both times, they did show a lot. I think this is a team, you just mentioned Brunson missing quality games here down the stretch. It opened up for a lot of guys, OG being at the top of the list, to just go deeper into their back, to quote what the kids are saying. There's a few guys on this team that have a lot more confidence in April than they did in March.
Without question. OG Anunoby.
Say it again.
Big O.
Oh, hold the G.
Oh. Scratch the G out. Oh. He was so hot against Phoenix. And I think it was a culmination of the last month. People were upset he wasn't touching the ball on offensive possessions like he was Kevin Durant.
Come on.
People are in the Garden like, give it to OG. OG. Why isn't he touching the ball? Forget all this other stuff we're doing. Let OG go to work.
What does Hart call him? The 6'8 demon.
The 6'8
Let him go to work.
And he has been playing like that.
Sean, just taking a little bit more into the 6-3 matchup here. If OG, and I'll say it again, the best 3 in this year's tournament, if he is the, let's call it, physical leader of this Knicks team in the playoffs, him imposing his will sets the tone for the club. what can that open up for this Knicks team starting with the Pistons?
You're going to need a lot of offense playing the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And he's, to be honest, I didn't know he had this in him. He's off the dribble pull up.
He's moving grown men out of the way.
He's banging in the post. He's
and the
going
three
to the
is
rim.
there too.
The three has been extremely wet the last month, 40+%. He's been playing out of his mind offensively. I didn't know he was like this offensively. So if we're able, the Knicks add another 25-point per night guy, if they could go 25, 25, and 25, and then, of course, Mikal will add, then, of course, Josh will add.
A little 25 there between two of them.
This could get really spicy if he can keep up that offense and relieve even more attention from Jalen Brunson once he gets back.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there because the playoff whistle is a different whistle. You saw it on the Sunday afternoon game with the Thunder and the Lakers bouncing around here, not too much, but SGA didn't get to the line. Yes, the Lakers shot unbelievable from three, but it was a different Thunder output. So when you're not getting the whistle, these teams, Boston, Cleveland, and we've seen them both drop some games here in the last month of ball, this Knicks team, it's almost like, all right, you try to go bucket for bucket with Boston, we're climbing up a tough hill, and it's similar thought with Cleveland. But if you flip it and you go, let's play Philadelphia Eagles football on the basketball court, let's not try to be the Chiefs, we're not going to outshoot the Celtics from three, but we can rough them up, make the game physical, beat them in the paint, do the little things, and lean on the guard and six man. This is when you start to get excited.
Yes.
But you know me, the Northeast bias is real, so you can take me back down to earth here.
No, I get it. I just don't like the physical talk because we haven't been that the entire year, and that's not really the MO of this roster. Would I love to see them get more physical? Yes. OG offensively has been a lot more physical. We talked about him getting to the line, being massive, but
I guess can Mitch, Rob, and OG do what iHeart and Dante did for this team with a side of Randall last year from non-X's and O's, the tone setter?
Of course.
That's what they need. They're
going to need that offensive rebounding Mitch Robinson to show up quite a bit versus
birthday doubled up Mitch.
They need to clean up there can't be any additional opportunities for the Celtics on offense, and there can't be additional opportunities for the Cavs on offense. They're too good. They already shoot it insanely from deep. If you give them extra ops, that's an issue. And then if you're able to create a couple extra opportunities for yourself on offense, that's when things can get a little mucked up and dirty, and you can get maybe potentially steal some wins. Now listen, if you go back to the sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals versus the Celtics and the Pacers, yes, it was a sweep. Go watch those games. I was there. They were tight. There was a couple games the Celtics could have dropped easily. So if you get in tight games, you never know what could happen. Ask Duke. And we talked about, remember, what did we talk about going into the Final Four? The only thing that we haven't seen from Duke is they're young and they haven't got in a tight situation where those booties get a little tighter because the game's coming down the line.
Yeah.
And we don't know if they're going to be able to make decisions and think clearly. They're young. The coach is young. They haven't been in that spot. And exactly what happened when they got in a 3-point game, it was 8 points.
Well, this is why I get excited about the Knicks because Boston doesn't play a lot of close games. They're either blowing you out or, the home favorite thing is fascinating. We talked about them
in the fourth quarter.
And then again, I see Cleveland again on national television yesterday blowing a game against the Kings or whatever the game was recently. And it's fascinating that these great teams in close matchups, even though they're professionals, are just – it becomes a game like basketball of confidence. It's a game of runs, but it's also a game of confidence.
Yeah.
And, you said ask Duke, ask Houston, up double digits, not being able to close. It's fascinating having a lead, protecting a lead, or coming back. And I think the Knicks, with really the clutch player of the year on their team in Brunson, kind of want those moments. 2 possessions 2 minutes ago type scenarios, whereas Cleveland and Boston want to do everything to avoid that.
Knicks are 7-2 in 3-point games this year.
There it is.
The Cavs 5-3.
All right.
So more losses.
Well, I want to speak on the 50 back-to-back wins. Man, first time since 95.
Yeah, amazing. If you go back all the way.
Unbelievable.
Knicks won 57 and 55 games in 94, and 93, 94, 94, 95. 4 straight 50-plus win seasons. They won 60, 92, 93. Now, this is interesting because we're in the building every game. The difference between having expectations and not is stark.
Yeah.
Last year, everything was gravy. 50 wins. Euphoria almost. Garden's back rocking. This year, it's not euphoria, it's expectation.
We've been here.
We're supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And when things aren't going that way, you can feel it a little bit more in the Garden. It felt like house money last year. This year feels like you're supposed to be here, and the energy's a little different. And I love that because you want to have expectations for your squad coming into the year and throughout the year, regardless if it's year 1 with the group or year 5. So the more serious tone and the expectation I can appreciate rather than like Dante hits a 3. Yeah, unbelievable. You know what I mean? Instead of like, we're expected to get that open look and we're expected to compete with the top teams in the East. So it's not as a surprise. Last year it felt a little bit like a surprise. Like, man, we're really making this run. Man, we're really going to beat the Pacers. Then OG goes down. We're really going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, this is real. Now it's like, I want us to be there. We probably should be there, and we should be competing. Different feel, both very phenomenal seasons. And they're probably going to close the year 53, 54 wins.
I mean, to your point, expectations. What, Vegas had them pre-flop, top 5 to win it all.
I think preseason was 54.5 wins.
Yeah, and I think they were above Cleveland on the futures board in the East.
53.5 was the win total, and then last year it was 45.5 to that point.
I mean, what?
So they're somebody's sweating that ticket too.
Yeah, well, look, this is a league. Continuity is important. You see it even in the middle of the trade deadline year when you reshuffle the deck takes time. This team had real turnover. We talk about it all the time. So everything to your point, having the expectations, but then didn't have Bridges last year, didn't have Cat last year. I heart Randall and Dante go. So looking at that thought, if we're giving big salad credit here to one guy, is it Tibbs? Starting with Tibbs and his staff to be able to just have those expectations, meet them, and do it with a new crop of guys.
I think it's just the talent, man. I know Tibbs is a good coach. He's been a good coach forever. I think you start adding guys like Cat and Mikal Bridges.
They just figure it out, talent-wise.
Yeah, that, and you're just going to win more games purely off of how good the roster is. I would appoint it to that more, but that's why this offseason, regardless of what happens in the playoffs, is so massive because I think the group could be special.
Yeah.
If they fill out the roster like they potentially can. So I don't want to look ahead to next season, but any coach, I believe, in the league, Tibbs included, will tell you, if I don't have any talent, it's dust anyway. So
yeah,
I gotta.
It's not the tournament.
Yeah,
the kids tournament.
Exactly. So yeah, shout out Tibbs for, of course, getting those guys to buy in and play all year long because they have played.
Man, Knicks back-to-back 50 wins.
Yeah, they've been thin a few times. So.
Yeah, I'm just going to say the Juice Bar started, and then the Knicks got 50 wins.
It's true.
And then the Juice Bar got brought back and 50 wins. Just throwing that out.
It's true.
Subscribe, rate, review. There it is, man.
Live show 60-win seasons.
Ooh. Hey, I'm fired up, man.
Really quick, let's talk about the Pistons. Look ahead. I don't like to do this because we don't know who we're going to play. But it looks like the Knicks are going to be the 3. The Pistons have a real good shot to be the 6. They're too young. What you think about the Thunder is what you should be thinking about the Pistons. Like, legitimately, too young of a squad, too quickly getting better. Last year, they won in the teens.
Yeah, big jump.
Now, massive jump.
Unbelievable.
Now,
hard to
staff
comprehend.
has them believing they can actually compete. They're hard-nosed. They're physical. I get that. But offensively, the Knicks would be way too much for them. Cade would be a handful, but I'm interested to see is that where you see OG like, all right, let me cut off the head of the snake here defensively?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let Tobias Harris, the Kirk Cousins of NBA contracts.
Let Tobias Harris and Malik Beasley and those guys try to go crazy, and I'll just go ahead and cut the head of the snake off here with Cade Cunningham, and we'll see you guys next
Well, the
year.
nice thing is they don't have much playoff experience with their young they don't have any playoff experience with their young talent. These older guys, a little bit here and there, but yeah, Tobias, Malik, I don't see them coming in the Garden.
Yeah, it'll be fun, though, either way.
Knicks in 5 in that game, series?
Knicks in 5 in that series.
Oh, what, Detroit gets game 3?
Yeah, maybe get the Detroit people a game. That's about it.
Jahmyr Gibbs and the boys sitting courtside.
Cade's really tough, though. Cade could go off triple-double style and win them a game by himself, but I think the Knicks overall will just be too much. I'm interested to see who the final 6 is going to be.
Yeah, is there any – you don't want to look ahead, of course, but each series is its own chapter, but is there anything in the Pistons series, building block-wise, if you could pick 1 or 2 momentous things happening in that series from a player – from a game that give them momentum in the second round?
Just offensively get Bridges more confidence that he's still a big part.
I think Bridges is the most important confidence guy.
Yeah, because I think you've said it. You just said it. The big 3 in the tournament. He's the odd out, but is vital to the success still. The movement, 100%. The screening, the cutting,
say what you said on pregame with Bridges threes going up with Brunson in the lineup. Good stuff.
So last 15 games with Brunson out prior to Phoenix, 28.3% of Mikal Bridges, shots came from deep. So he was working a lot more inside the perimeter.
Right.
A lot more twos, a lot more just basic offense needed with Brunson off the floor. Pre-All-Star with Brunson on the floor running point, 43.8% of Bridges' shots came from deep. So, spacing.
Huge.
More options, more space for Brunson, and you're going to need that three-point shooting in the playoffs when you play some of these offensive-heavy squads. So,
yeah, 100%. Well said. I'm fired up, man.
And if OG can lock up Cade, that would give him confidence in because that was kind of the idea initially, right? OG, the eraser, OG Tatum, OG Cade, OG Donovan Mitchell, and you can kind of just erase one of those guys.
Now it's
Now it's
just O.
Yeah, but then it was like take away one, and now we could go head up here. And we can really compete with Cat and Brunson and Mikal and not need so much offensive contribution from OG because he's going to be worn down defensively, but he's also erasing one of their big offensive keys.
If I had to look for something to avoid, don't let Stewart or Ron Holland get under your skin. Next thing you know, we're doing some post-whistle nonsense, and that would only hurt the Knicks and help Detroit.
100%.
And I could see them doing that.
Don't let them drag you down into this muddy scuffle when we're too talented.
I wonder if there's a guy deep on our bench, if they were going that route, you'd love to see get active. Keeping it PG, of course. It'd have to be Mitch, right?
Mitch. Yeah, Mitch has been coming off the bench. It's Mitch.
Maybe a little campaign, southpaw with it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Cam. He's been playing well too offensively.
All right, man.
Knicks,
getting close.
Playoffs loading.
Let's go.
Appreciate you guys watching the Juice Bar weekly. In the description below, go lock in, subscribe. Anywhere you find your audio podcast, the Juice Bar will be on there. iTunes, Spotify, across the board. Lock in. Tell a homie to tell a friend. The Juice Bar's live everywhere.